What's up, hardcore test preppers? In this video, we're looking at question 2 of the reading section of practice test 1 in the ACT Red Book. I'll explain why the correct answers are correct, why the wrong answers are wrong, and why I'm no longer going to use those terms. I'll also show you a simple trick you can use to save time on the ACT and the SAT, and introduce you to some new terms that will help you understand how the test is designed and how you can use that information to crush the test. So yeah, I'm no longer going to be referring to the correct answers and the incorrect answers as such, because there are better terms available. Those terms are vague and they don't tell us much about what we're looking for. So correct answers, why are they correct? Well, in general, they're always correct for one particular reason, and that is they restate the relevant part of the passage. That is the part of the passage that the question is asking us about. So that's how we'll refer to correct answers from now on, as on-point restatements, or for short, OPRs. Now, what about wrong answers? Well, that's actually not how they're described by the test-making industry, a field called psychometrics, by the way. They refer to wrong answers as distractors, which is a great term because that's exactly what wrong answers are designed to do. So instead of saying wrong answers from now on, we'll say distractors. That'll just be a little reminder of what the wrong answers are intended to do, and that constant reminder will help you to avoid falling into their traps. On to the question, which is on page 181 of the 3rd edition of the Red Book. This is a dual vocabulary question, meaning there are 2 words in each answer choice. Obviously, both words have to fit the passage in order for the answer to be an OPR, an on-point restatement. If either of the words doesn't fit, it disqualifies that answer choice. That answer choice is a distractor. But before we get into the answer choices, I want to take a close look at the question. This particular question has 2 examples of what I call psyops. These are words or phrases that tend to mislead you, to confuse you, to throw you off your game. The first example that I want to look at is the word characterize. So let's look at the question. Fran's mother can most accurately be characterized as... Now, characterize isn't an incredibly hard vocabulary term. However, it's not the simplest, most straightforward word. It's not the most common word. It's not the word that we would normally use when we mean what the question means here. What the question really means is describe, right? How can Fran's mother best be described? But instead of using that simple, straightforward word, the SAT and the ACT like to use the word characterize. It's just one subtle way of sort of knocking you off balance a little bit. The other psyops phrase is Fran's mother can most accurately be described. I want to hone in on that most accurately. This is kind of misleading. It leads a lot of people to think something like this. Well, okay, so there must be at least a couple answer choices that are accurate, and I'm looking for the most accurate answer choice. No, that is not the case. There is only one answer choice that's accurate. The rest are completely inaccurate. They are distractors. So one of the most powerful, effective things you can do to increase your score is to think of the test not as a test, but as a game. It is actually like a game in many important ways. Thinking about it that way and responding to it that way will help you increase your score. When the game uses the psyops attack, you're going to respond with your translate ability. I know it sounds a little geeky, but stay with me. This will help you increase your score. The translate ability simply takes the language that the test offers and translates it into something that makes more sense and, probably more importantly, more accurately describes what you're supposed to be looking for. So let's take the current question, for example. It says Fran's mother can most accurately be characterized as... We're going to use our translate ability against that psyops attack and change it to the passage describes Fran's mother as, that's what we're really being asked. So now that we know exactly what we're looking for, let's get into the answer choices. Answer choice F, arrogant and cruel. This actually does seem to restate part of the passage that describes Fran's mother. On line 19, she's described as being vain, particularly about her nails. And then on line 23, she's described as a dragon lady, or that she has dragon lady nails. So vain, meaning you've got an excessive pride about particularly your appearance. Well, that seems to fit pretty well with arrogant. And dragon lady, that may be a term that a lot of you aren't familiar with, but it's a derogatory slang term, refers to a powerful, domineering woman, often perceived as wielding a sort of corrupt power, sort of like a female supervillain or a crime boss. But there are two problems with this answer choice. So first of all, arrogant is too strong. The passage says that Fran's mother is vain about her nails, not vain in general. So this overstates the case. Now for the little trick I talked about that can save you time. What I want you to do is, since we've ruled out arrogant, I want you to put a line through it. And what this is going to do is prevent you from going back and rehashing this answer choice over and over, wasting time. Now let's look at cruel. Cruel, again, seems to fit it. We're just looking at dragon lady, but the problem is cruel is contradicted by other parts of the passage where we see that Fran's mother is not cruel but caring. Specifically, I'm talking about the last paragraph where Fran's mother shows a lot of empathy and encourages Fran about trying to establish her relationship with her long-lost daughter, Linda Rose. So the second word of this answer choice contradicts the passage. I want you to put a line through that. Now that we've put a line through both of the words, we're going to put a line through F, through answer choice F. And what that means is we've eliminated this answer choice. We're not going to go back and rehash, and that's going to save us a lot of time. Now, I really want you to do this, okay? Because I have a lot of students, when I give them this advice, they sort of respond, yeah, obviously that, of course, but then they don't do it. You've got to do it in order to take advantage of it. Be disciplined, get in the habit of doing it. It takes no time, and it prevents you from reevaluating things over and over. Okay, on to answer choice G, strong-willed and caring. So both of these words are supported by the passage. Strong-willed is supported in lines 18 through 25, where Fran's mother is described as being vain about her nails and having dragon lady nails, despite the fact that she's obviously sick from cancer and chemotherapy and looks very frail and weak and as if she's already dead. And despite the fact that her dragon nails freak people out, she does it anyway and takes care of her physical appearance. Well, an accurate way of describing that behavior is strong-willed. How about caring? Yeah, as we just talked about in the last paragraph of the passage, where Fran's mother encourages her and shows empathy, that's clearly an example that can be accurately described as caring. So what we're going to do here is put a check mark next to strong-willed and a check mark next to caring, because both of those restate the parts of the passage that we care about, which is the parts of the passage that describe Fran's mother. We're not going to put a check mark next to answer choice G yet, because we're not 100% sure, since we haven't eliminated the extra or the other answer choices. Answer choice H, friendly but withdrawn. Friendly is irrelevant. The passage doesn't say anything about Fran's mother being friendly or unfriendly. Friendly is pleasant, especially in a social situation. And there's just no information about how Fran's mother interacts with people socially. Withdrawn is contradicted by information in the passage. Withdrawn means that you don't want to communicate with other people. And of course, Fran's mother is willingly, actively communicating with her for most of the passage. Answer choice J, loving but embittered. Loving could be supported by the last paragraph in the passage. Embittered, however, is irrelevant. It doesn't say anywhere in the passage that Fran's mother is angry about something bad that has happened to her. There's no description of Fran's mother that comports with that. Embittered means that you're angry, that you're cynical. You see the glass is half empty as opposed to half full. Of course, as with all of the distractors, if you think you see something in the passage that supports them, just put that in the comments and I'll explain to you why you are imagining things and not seeing a restatement. Going back to answer choice H, we put a line through friendly, we put a line through withdrawn, and so we put a line through the answer choice, eliminating it as a distractor. Same thing with J, we put a line through embittered. That's enough to eliminate that as a distractor. And so we're left with answer choice G as our OPR. In other words, the correct answer. I am going to be walking through every single question on the reading section of practice test 1. So to make sure you don't miss any of them, please subscribe. If you like this video, please like. If you have questions or comments, put them in the comments below and I will answer. Thanks, and I'll see you next time.